Good evening, good evening, good evening. What's going on, good people? Welcome to the Pro Fan Talk. My name is Marcus Thomas. Happy Thursday. We are back at it, man. Good to see everybody in here. Everybody jumping in the chat. Can everybody hear me? Got to make sure. I had issues last week. Want to make sure that's not happening. But it's been a come down week after the I don't want to call it the debacle that was the 76ers, but definitely the disappointment. We'll talk about that a little bit later. What's up, Chris? Chris and my pops, first ones in the chat. I appreciate it. Hey, Mom. Mom's in the chat. So we got a lot of stuff going on. NFL is the gift that keeps on giving. Wanted to focus on the Sixers tonight a little bit, but with the new stuff that came out, also with all of this mess with Nick Saban, him running his mouth. We're definitely going to talk about that because I believe Nick Saban has opened the door that he cannot close. So it'll be interesting to hear the comments from Prime and some of the others. Your boy from A&M, he launching salvos. He ain't playing. He is not playing. He going for the jugular. He's like, you gonna talk about me like that? So Jimbo, is that Jimbo Fisher? But he came with it. He was bringing the noise. He was like, you can check the receipts. So it'll be interesting because he, like I said, he's opened up a door that he can't close, and I don't think he really realized the ramifications of that. But we'll see what happens. But a lot of good news. Eagles still making moves. Howie Roseman, man, that dude, he making it happen. He making it happen. Didn't we talk a couple weeks ago? Was in all the chats. It was on social media. It was in the news. Giants couldn't sign James Bradberry. And, of course, everybody in Philadelphia was like, Howie's got to go get him. And I know that is easier said than done, especially with all the moves that he had already made. The A.J. Brown deal, Kazir White, Hassan Reddick, the draft picks you got to sign, Davis, Nakobe Dean. Well, mostly Davis. Nakobe Dean is a good one, but you just paid all of that money to A.J. Brown. So throwing money around like that is not as easy as it sounds. However, Howie has become the guy. He's gotten the reputation in the league as a guy that can manipulate that cap and make something happen. I like to call him the Wizard of Philadelphia. If you saw my post this week, I had a video clip from the Super Bowl parade. All the alumni were at the art museum, and I managed to get a quick video clip with me and Howie. And I reminded him because I had a video clip of me and Howie at the alumni game preseason. And, everybody always talks. You talk smack on your team, we gonna win the Super Bowl, all that kind of stuff. And I had a chance to say to him, I was like, you said it in preseason, and now we are here at the parade because of Howie Roseman. And it's this is another big piece of the puzzle. This is another solidifying keystone in our defense. Jake, what's good, man? I hope you are correct. I hope Howie's got a couple more moves that he wants to make. I would love to see it. He is hitting for a very high batting average as of late. So everybody, I see all the stuff on social media talking about nobody better ever criticize Howie again. And it's like, well, let's keep it 100. The criticism that he was getting was valid. The criticism he was getting was valid. But that means the praise that he's getting now is well-deserved. He is silencing the critics, and he is putting his money where his mouth is. And I said this in my post. I think I put this out today that as of right now, Howie Roseman is the best is the best signing the Eagles have had this offseason because he's making it happen. What's going on, Frank? Jeremiah, what's good, dude? So I tell you what, man, it's he is in the zone. He is in the zone. Although I would be curious to see, like, what is the shift? What was the catalyst? What was the thing that happened where we all of a sudden start hitting up all these Alabama athletes? I have no problem with it, but the question is, why didn't they do that years ago? I don't know. Let me see. Howie is above the fray when he earns it. Right now, he earned it. Facts. He definitely earned it. When he drafted Rager, he earned criticism. Absolutely. And you know what? I was not down on the drafting of Rager. I thought, because a lot of times, and this is what people just throw out the window, but you can't. Because let's keep it real. They do their homework. There are reasons why they sign and draft who they select. Especially when it's the draft board and stuff like that. There are reasons they pick who they pick. Now, if someone on the scouting team was feeling some kind of way and put up some bogus information or something like that, that would not be the first time. Look at how Nakobe Dean fell. Nakobe Dean fell because all of a sudden there were rumors, and there was people in the chat that mentioned this when we had our show before the draft. There was people in the chat that mentioned they heard Nakobe Dean had a pec issue. He didn't get surgery and all of that kind of stuff. Somebody started that rumor, and that cost that boy a lot of money. So stuff like that happens all the time. The Rager pick, I didn't think the Rager pick was that bad. You know, somebody must have done their homework. Somebody must have looked at him. The thing when the Rager pick started going south was when WIP had the coach on the radio, and then the coach really didn't have many good things to say about him. The coach wasn't even faking it. That's when people started to get worried. Because I've seen that before, and somebody will draft somebody or reach for somebody, and you kind of look like, why are you doing that? And, you know, maybe they were right, maybe they were wrong. I don't know. You could find cases on both sides on every team in the league. Every one of them. How many people passed on Cooper Kupp? How many people passed on Jerry Rice? I got to find that. I think I posted. I might post it again. There's a great article about all the teams that drafted right after, drafted right before a Hall of Fame player got picked, which means that team had a chance. There's somebody that had a chance to draft Ray Lewis. There's somebody that had a chance to draft Jerry Rice. There's somebody that had a chance to draft Tom Brady, but they didn't. Why? So I agree, Jeremiah. If he was round 3, where he should have been, yeah, I agree. He has too much pressure on him. Too much pressure on him. So, but I hope, Steve, what's going on, brother? Glad to see you in, man. I'm hoping Howie has some more moves. I am of the opinion that somebody's going to take Jalen Reagor's spot in camp. I think we're going to have a lot of people jockeying for a spot, jockeying to play. Big Moose, what's good? Big Moose, that's what my Moose is what my sisters call me. That's their nickname for me. But I think there's going to be a veteran free agent or a rookie in camp that's going to take Jalen Reagor's spot. I think it's going to be somebody in camp that's just going to ball out, and it's going to be one of them situations where they can't be ignored. Like, you gotta, like, no, you can't get rid of this kid. Charles Marinan, what's going on, dude? Eagle Slayer 9-5. I see you. What's going on? I remember my rookie year, it was me and Vaughn Hebron. We were both undrafted free agents at the same position. So there was no way that they were going to keep two free agent running backs the same year. And guess what they ended up doing? They kept both of us because we both put it down. What's going on, Derry? We both put it down. And you gotta be able to have the opportunity and take advantage of that opportunity when you get it. So, and I'm saying all that to say that I think there's going to be somebody that's going to step up, and you don't want to, you can't let that go. Can't. And they're going to have to make a decision. So, but I believe that I think Rager is going to end up going somewhere. And when he's out of the pressure that is Philadelphia, he'll be okay. He'll catch on somewhere, and he'll have a couple of decent years. And, we'll see what happens. So we'll see what happens. Charles, you hitting the poll question. The poll question was, is Jonathan Gannon under just as much pressure as Jalen Hurts? Absolutely. The optics of it is Jalen Hurts is always going to have more pressure because he's the quarterback, period. Quarterback has more pressure than the head coach. So now, especially the way the defense ran last year, because there was a bunch of excuses. We can't do this. We don't have this type of player. So you got to be vanilla. We was running a passive defense. Everybody was complaining. And it was sometimes it was just, I still think we had the horses to do some things. We just didn't do it. Now, we have no excuse on offense and defense. We have zero excuses. We have zero excuses right now why we can't do damage. Bradberry on one side, Slay on the other. On our defensive line, Jordan Davis, Brandon Graham is coming back. Hargrave is balling. Fletcher Cox, I don't know what Fletcher Cox is going to be. I don't know what Derek Barnett is going to be. But if Fletcher Cox still wants to play, he's playing for a contract because he's not going to be back next year. If Derek Barnett wants another payday, he's got to ball out. But the thing I like is they got a lot of competition. So there's a good chance that they might be on the sidelines a lot. If we got that type of coach that's not afraid to sit somebody because they are not producing, which is one of my criticisms of Sirianni when it comes to Rager. So we'll see what happens. Jeremiah, Slay didn't stink, man. Nah, Slay balled out. You might be thinking of some specific situations, but Slay balled last year. So he's been the best defensive back we've had in a couple of years. And now we got two, and I think we'll be all right. Jeremiah Bradberry, he went to the Pro Bowl in 2019, I think. Bradberry. It's his 7th year. He went to the Pro Bowl in 2020. Although when I checked the stats, he had a better year last year, in my opinion. He was last year, he started 16 games. His Pro Bowl year, I believe he only started either 14 or 15. But last year he started 16 games, had 4 picks, 17 pass defenders, and 47 combined tackles. So I think Bradberry will be good. Oh, you saying besides his liners? Okay, I got you. My bad. Misunderstood you. But we got some good. Jordan Davis is going to be a stopper. He's going to be a plug. Jordan Davis is going to be that dude that is going to force teams, if they want to run, he's going to force teams to run outside. Now, the question mark with Jordan Davis is, how many teams are we going to play that are going to commit to the run like that? So is he going to be a 1 and 2 down, third and long, he's out? Or is he somebody that's going to be able to pull a double team and free up our D tackle or our D end? So we'll see. Big Moose, I hope we still looking for a safety. I'm happy that most of our cornerbacks are over 6 foot now. I like seeing that. I come from an era where we had the small, super fast defensive backs. I played with Mark McMillan, Mini Mac, played at Alabama, and he was 5'6", 5'7", and he wasn't but maybe 165, 170. He was a small dude, but he played. He balled out. But I just think that doesn't there's too many big wide receivers. There's too many big, fast wide receivers. I couldn't see somebody like Mark McMillan going up against DK Metcalf at 6'3" and 240. It does not. Jeremiah, what you mean that the defensive end is a little concerning? I think we got depth, and I think it's going to force some people to play, or they're going to be riding the pine. I don't mind that. I like the competition we got coming. On top of all of the names that you know, I believe Hassan Reddick can go both. He can go outside linebacker, and he can stick his hand in the dirt. You know BG's going to be there. BG is a question mark because he's coming off that Achilles. So I know he said he's ready, but we'll see because that can turn on a dime, especially with them Achilles. Who's the guy that just got hurt doing his Instagram live? So, John, what's good, man? What do you expect from Miles Sanders this season? Crazy that he didn't score any touchdowns. You know what? I don't. For what they did with Sanders last year, I thought he played relatively well. He got to be able to stay healthy. That's his biggest knock on him. He has to stay healthy. But I thought when they put him in the backfield regularly, he would break the long ones, but he would break the long ones on our side of the 50. And the long ones would be, 30, 40 yards, but he wasn't taking them to the house. I know he can, and I believe that if he would have ran the ball, obviously, we beating a dead horse now, but if Sirianni would have ran the ball, Tariq Cohen, thank you. If Sirianni would have ran the ball earlier in the season and not just running the ball a lot, just a balanced attack, he would have been a much better performer. I think he would have been in the groove a lot better. People don't appreciate that. They don't appreciate what that means. When you get in the groove and you in the zone, it's very difficult to come out or get on the field and you cold. And not because you're not playing and not giving you the ball. You got to get a rhythm. And it's not per game. It's during the season. You got to ramp it up. You want to play as a running back. You want to get at least 10 carries every game, at least, so you can say you've been involved. If you're getting like 2 and 3 carries a game, it feels like you're not involved in the game as a running back, and that's what you don't like. Because Miles Sanders was taken off the field, Gainwell goes in for passing situations and stuff like that. I'm like, if you're gonna lose them or if you're gonna use them, use them. I thought that what was the other running back? Jordan should have been starting. What was his last name? Jordan. What was Jordan's last name? Or was that his last name? I can't remember. What was the other running back with Miles Sanders that they should have been starting, but they didn't start? Now that's gonna bug me. Calcaterra. I watched some film on that kid. I like that kid. Jordan Howard. Thank you. Damn, Jake. I couldn't. Woof. Getting old, man. Jordan Howard should have been starting. And I thought Jordan Howard should have pounded him up the middle because Jordan Howard is a strong north-south runner. And once Jordan Howard would soften him up, you put Miles Sanders to get to the second level and run away from everybody because he does have that type of speed and he can do it. So they just, in my opinion, they didn't use him right. They didn't use any other running backs the right way. Boston Scott should have been our screen running back, but we don't run screens. All we run is that stupid wide receiver screen to the left. I hate that play. Everybody named Mama knows it's coming. But Calcaterra, the only thing that scares me about him is he left football. He was balling, and he can move. He's a big target that can move. But I'm like, dude, why did you leave football? Like, what? I'm trying to understand the thought process, and now you want to come back, what, 3-4 years later? So we'll see how that turns out. I hope he can still play because the film I saw on him, the boy can move, and he is a big target, and I like having big targets. I still say everybody was down on J-Jaw, and I don't think that I just think they didn't use J-Jaw right. J-Jaw is somebody I would have told every time you get in the game, if we throw you the ball, you better go up like you dunking with two hands. That's what they should have told J-Jaw. Every time somebody throws you the ball, you jump to get it because nobody can out-jump you. At 6'3", you have the advantage. Use it. That's right. He had concussions. Yeah, Jeremiah, I can't argue with you, but at least he's trying to do something on special teams. At least he can block. At least you can do that. So, it is what it is, man. So, I think, it's not this year at defensive end with this. He might. It all depends on what they do. Sure enough. It all depends on how they work it. Now, the one thing that I am very excited to see is Miami and the Birds going at it in camp. Always a good time when you can go to somebody else's camp. I remember when I played, we had a chance to go up. Most of y'all probably too young for this, but Rich Kotite came from the Jets. So he had all the relationships up in New York. So we went up, stayed in New York for a weekend, and we scrimmaged the Jets all week. So, and it's always good when you go up against somebody else because you get in the monotony of training camp. You're looking at the same people, all of that kind of stuff. So you feel good when the preseason game comes up, or you could go practice against somebody else. You can tee off why you think everybody, there's guaranteed to be some fights and all of that kind of stuff. Happens every time. But that's what they want to see. You got some kid that's going to be up there that's going to start a fight because he ain't no punk and he ain't trying to get punked in front of everybody and on film. So they're going to fight. And there's going to be some people that start fights on purpose for no reason, but just to say he got some fire and he wanted to start a fight. That's how it goes. But you will be able to see how we stack up against somebody else. I want to see if they play. I want to see how our DBs look against Tyreek Hill and Waddle. I want to see what our pass rush looks against another running quarterback that can run just as well as Jalen Hurts. Can they get back there and get pressure on? They're not going to be putting sacks in and stuff like that, but can you get your hands on? So that's the stuff you want to see when you can fight somebody else. Because when you in camp just amongst your teammates, you get a good sense of who everybody is. You've seen them day after day after day after day after day. So you kind of lick your chops for a chance to go against somebody else. Funny story. When we were scrimmaging the Jets, Ronnie Lott at that time was with the Jets. And most of you all probably, y'all didn't see Ronnie Lott play. Go to YouTube, look up Ronnie Lott. That joker used to light people up. But I remember we was in 11 on 11. I got the ball, made it to the second level. So I kind of take off on him. And I see Ronnie Lott coming, and he could have just cleaned my clock. But he just kind of ran past me, hit me on the stomach, let me know he could have blew me up, but I'm glad he didn't. So, you know that feeling you get when you go down that first big hill of a roller coaster? Yeah, that's what I felt when I saw Ronnie Lott coming. Don't get it twisted. But I'm happy to see, I'm looking forward to see what's going on in camp. Stephen Kelly. No doubt. Ronnie Lott, Andre Waters, Steve Atwater. Yeah, they couldn't play today. They couldn't play in today's game. They wouldn't allow it. They wouldn't allow it. Most of the people they would hit would be out for 2 weeks with concussion protocol. You already know. It's a different breed now, man. Definitely a different breed. So, but a good one question I have is, and this will be all on Sirianni, because Sirianni's even though he's a New York dude and he's got the fiery Italian attitude, Chuck Cecil. Oh my God, dude. Stop it. Knocking folks through walls and whatnot. Sirianni is I want to see what he does on this away and how he's going to handle the team. Meaning, if they go to Miami, I don't know where the Dolphins training camp is, but if it's in that area, are they going to keep everybody tight? Can he keep everybody inside? A lot of distractions down there, everything that comes with that. So it'll be interesting. That's something that most people wouldn't even think of, but looking at the things that a head coach has to do, that's something I'm interested in, because it seems like the Eagles have bought into Sirianni. So I'm really looking forward to him opening it up, putting some pressure on some people so we can get the best out of them, or we're going to get the best person at that position on the field, which is what we need. And I don't think we necessarily had that in some situations last year. Just my opinion. So, a lot of stuff coming on, man. A lot of stuff. But it's interesting. And then the stuff that dropped today, and it's like, yo, what's up, Mal? My twin is in the house. One of the twin powers activate. Former of a YouTube host. Better recognize. Did y'all see this mess that Nick Saban has started? I don't know where he was. I saw the video clip. I don't know if he was at a booster meeting or whatever, but he starts snitching on Deion Sanders and the dude from Texas A&M, and it's like, what are you talking about? Sure enough, I like Nick too, but dude, how you gonna be dry snitching on people because they had a better draft class than you? And he bitching and moaning about the NIL, and it's like everybody in the same boat. But don't forget, there's a reason why Alabama gets all the top recruits. It ain't always because they got the best football team. Rest assured. I went to a 1AA school. I went to Eastern Kentucky. Eastern Kentucky was considered a 1AA school. So small schools and 1AA schools wasn't known for giving out money and boosters and all of that kind of stuff. Just didn't happen. You felt funny if you asked for a full meal plan. But Nick Saban start talking about, Prime is giving $1 million to players to go to Jackson State, and Texas A&M is buying players and all of that kind of stuff. And I'm like, that's kind of the pot calling the kettle black, ain't it? And now everybody's ripping on Nick Saban because it's like, there's some things that Alabama can do that other schools can't do. If any of y'all in the chat, if you have a friend, a brother that went to a Division I school, a big Division I school, I'm talking about like a Michigan or an Ohio State or Notre Dame or Alabama or Clemson or big schools, big known schools, SC. If you got a friend like that, ask that friend to tell you some recruiting stories. Ask that friend to tell you some things that happened when they went on their recruiting trip. You talking about people could listen. I know when I went and visited Toledo, University of Toledo. Ain't nothing going on in Toledo. The best thing about Toledo is close to Detroit. So they got something to do. But the guy that was hosting me, the first thing we was doing was we had to get out so we can go to a party and this, that, and the other. Sure enough, ask your little cousin about the recruiting trip at Ohio State. Ask him to tell you some stories. And the point I'm trying to make is, Steve, bam. There you go, Steve. You know where I'm going with this. And there's a lot of other things that happen in them recruiting trips that I'm not going to get into so I don't get this channel shut down. But I will say this, though. Let's go old school for a minute. Go, if anybody, check out the movie with Denzel Washington, He Got Game. Check out that movie. There's a scene when Jesus Shuttlesworth goes on a recruiting trip, and the stuff that happens in that scene is kind of Hollywood, but it's kind of not. And when you Jeremiah, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Now, you put that in the real world at a place like Alabama, at a place like Florida State, at a place like Miami, the big schools. So they do whatever they can to get that recruit. And people like Nick Saban know what goes on, but they turn their heads when they need to. They turn their heads when they need to. So when the players and the team captain is taking the recruits to the parties, they ain't going to the parties with a bunch of other dudes. Let me say it like that. Let's keep it 100. So when Saban brings out stuff like that, there's plenty of people that probably got receipts on him. Plenty of people. I can't remember what his name was. This was a long time ago, but it was a college coach, basketball coach, that got the team got suspended, NCAA violations, because he had a recruit and the kid didn't have much money, came from a poor background. So the coach took the kid out for a pizza, and they busted the coach because he bought the kid a pizza. Stuff like that. To me, that stuff like that is infuriating. And you go down to Alabama and you go down to Miami and you see what them boosters do for those people. I had one of my best friends from high school went to Ohio State, and you hear stories. Your boosters, if you go to a big school, your boosters will take care of you. You can figure out what that means. So for Nick Saban to be snitching on other teams because they're following the rules, NILs are legal now, and for him to be bitching and moaning about it, he looks like a big old hypocrite. Big old hypocrite. Rick Pitino, Kentucky. Are you serious? You already know. You already know, dude. I went to Eastern Kentucky. I'm 30 minutes from Lexington. So I know what the mania. At my bookstore at EKU, they had Kentucky gear in the city. So I trust me. UK basketball is on another level, bro. Another level. And you got all of these coaches like him used to having it his own way for so long. The minute it's not going his way, he throws a tantrum. And now he has opened up a door that he cannot close. So I'm very interested to hear what Deion Sanders is going to say tomorrow. The coach from Texas A&M been ripping him a new one, and he used to coach under Saban. Said he ain't want to answer his calls. He said we're done. We're done. And I totally agree. Nick Saban is crying about it because somebody beat you to the punch. SMU, when they got the death penalty, absolutely right. Absolutely right. When you have that much money invested on the backs of these kids going to school, and the hypocrisy of the NCAA trying to say we were not professionals, and anybody that could make a profit off of their name and likeness, they banned them. I remember what was the kid from Colorado, the punt returner from Colorado that was the U.S. skier, Jeremy Bloom. They told him, you either play football or you do your Olympic thing. You can't do both, because he was getting donations to support his Olympic dreams while he was in school, and the NCAA said that's against NCAA rules. He couldn't do it, so he had to quit football. It's like, come on, man! All the money that y'all make off, and here's the thing where it was done for me, as far as I was concerned. When EA Sports came out with the NCAA football games, it was the college version of Madden. When they came out with the NCAA games, and those games were fire. Those games were good and made a lot of money. And you knew when you played Alabama, when you played Notre Dame, if there was a player with a specific number, you knew who that dude was. You knew who it was. Same thing. They did the same thing. NCAA basketball was same way. And all of the money that the NCAA made off these kids going to school. When I was putting it down in Eastern Kentucky, and you walk in the bookstore and all you see is jerseys with the number 40 on it, that's my name and likeness. And if I wasn't doing what I was doing on the field, wouldn't nobody buy the jersey? That's easy to figure out. But the NCAA want to keep the plantation going because they want to say we're amateurs. And now they're in a situation, and they just it's even the playing field. It had to go this long, and it had to get to Congress before it had to change. They wouldn't change it for us. It had to go to that nth degree. So I say they get whatever they get. I hope they blow the NCAA up. I hope the NCAA goes out of existence. And I see nothing wrong with these players getting what they can get, because they'll be the first ones when up in Penn State, when Talaferro goes down and breaks his neck and has to learn to walk again. Then what? That's all great that he was a popular player, but you got to remember, Adam Talaferro was a freshman when that happened. He was starting as a freshman. So all the stuff he had to go through, and yes, he made the best out of a bad situation, and he's somebody that can tell his story about how he overcame. The bad part of that is how many kids out there don't get that story. don't have a happy ending. Everybody doesn't end up like the kid from Michigan who blew his Achilles in the workout and still got drafted. Or what was his name? Sidney Jones that we got a couple years ago that blew his Achilles out and we still drafted him. That's the exception to the rule. There's too many kids that their whole dream is over. Over. So the NCAA, Nick Saban, they get exactly what they get. Exactly what they get. And guess what? Not for nothing, I will be rooting for Texas A&M to put it on Alabama this year. I hope they beat the brakes off of Alabama. I ain't a Texas A&M fan, nor am I an Alabama fan. But just because of this, I hope they beat the brakes off of Nick Saban. And all them other recruits go back to Texas A&M next year. Crying like you a baby. Come on, man. Snitching. Try snitching on folks. What's up with that? So, but yeah, man. Yeah, John, the NCAA don't care about nothing, man. NCAA was making money. And they were trying to do everything they can to protect that money. They didn't give a damn about them athletes. They tell us they getting room and board and all of that kind of stuff. Even when they had that argument about some of the women's sports. And if the women's sports are putting it down like that, you can't tell me that for a minute, UConn women's team, Tennessee's women basketball team, were bringing more people to their games than anybody else. If that's the situation, then absolutely, you pay them women what they deserve, period. But the situation has got to be warranted. And in most situations, not all, but most situations, the football program, or at some schools, the basketball program, is paying for a whole lot of other stuff. A lot of football and basketball programs are the reason why you have, a judo program or a wrestling team or a track team or some of the stuff, some of the other teams that have scholarship players but don't attract that type of money or revenue to the school. So, I mean, it's a slippery slope, but guess what? They done kicked the door open. And if they wasn't doing it so corruptly for all of these years, they wouldn't have this problem. But they are, and they're gonna have to, they made the bed, so they're gonna have to lie in it. I wish I would have had somebody from Eastern Kentucky slip me $5,000 or something like that. Come on, man. We wasn't seeing no parts of that. And then I would see a couple of my friends at a big school where it's like, what you doing? Well, you stay up, go to summer school, you lift weights, and then they get you a job with a booster where they pay you, $15 an hour for an 8-hour day, but you only work for 2 hours. They would do stuff like that. Now, mind you, I went to school in the 90s, so if you was in college making $15 an hour, you was making a whole lot of money. And then you didn't even have to, it's a million stories. Million stories. I'm sure somebody done written a book that talks about stuff like that. But like I said, check out He Got Game and check out Jesus Shuttleworth on his recruiting visit. Crazy. But we'll see, man. We'll see. We'll see what Prime got to say tomorrow. I'm very interested to hear his take on it. I hope he lights up into it. Ain't gonna be no more Aflac commercials for them two. They're gonna start showing it. If Aflac was smart, they would start showing the commercials that they have already filmed. If they filmed any new ones, start showing them like them two together, because you can't beat that type of publicity right now. I would have them commercials all over everywhere right now. So we'll see. We'll see. This dude was firing bombs a day. And you could tell, if you watch the press conference, you could tell how upset he was because you know how you get so mad you can't even talk straight, like your voice start quivering. It almost sound like you ready to cry. Like this dude was ready to explode. And I think he was like that because he had a personal relationship with Saban. So that's why stuff like that hurts so much. He coached under Saban. So he's seen some of the things that everybody else hasn't seen. So it'll be interesting. Out of the Box Podcast Network. Okay, Out of the Box. I hope y'all beat the brakes off of them jokers next year. Honest to God, I do. I want to see Nick Saban just be. I want him to be humble, like like your boy in Miami was humble. Just had no business being the head coach, and got his behind up out of there in the worst possible way. Like when people think they above the game, drives me nuts. Drives me nuts, man. So now, for my last little segment here, now that we've all come down from the disappointment that was the 76ers, now we're dealing with all of these trade rumors. Now, me personally, I like Tyrese Maxey because I like having a young player because he's still going to be a young player a year from now. He's going to be a young player next year and the year after that. He's only 21, so he got 4 more years until he's 25. So you got 3 or 4 more years. I don't know when his birthday is, but you got at least 3 more years before this kid even turns 25. And if he stays healthy, the type of player he is a star in the making. So I would hope that Daryl Morey can find a deal that does not include him. However, I know how this business works. And he is number one trade bait. So we'll see what happens. I hope they can find a way to keep him. I know Dame Lillard has been popping up in the chats as a target. Somebody like him, would I trade Maxey for? Yeah. You can't. I mean, facts is facts. Dame Lillard is a much better player than Maxey. I think Maxey will be there one day, but Dame Lillard, yeah, that's something you got to do. Chris, I agree with you. If you want to continue to grow, but it seems like Daryl Morey is trying to create another big three some way, shape, or form. He's looking for 2 more players that can complement Embiid. So we got to get a shooter. We got to get somebody who can be what James Harden used to be. James Harden is not a elite scorer anymore. James Harden is a seasoned vet that still got some in the tank. That's what James Harden is now, based on his performance this year. James Harden is no longer a superstar. James Harden is just another veteran player on a team. He is not somebody, he'll give you 30 points, every 10 games now? He just can't do it. I don't know if his legs weren't there. Maybe he'll surprise us all next year and, get on the keto diet, come back in super shape, and just blow everybody's socks off. I don't see that happening. I think he is what he is. We got, in my opinion, we've got 1, maybe 2 more years of Joel Embiid at the current level he's at right now. That's what I think. You got 1 or 2 more years of Joel Embiid, so we got to make the most of it. So I think they definitely have to find somebody that can complement Embiid, and they definitely have to find somebody that can back up Embiid, because when Embiid steps off the court, it's a crap show, man. It is god awful garbage. Donovan Mitchell, dude, you one step ahead of me, John. You one step ahead of me, bro. Donovan Mitchell is in the talks too. Now, I'll admit, my grandson Chris, y'all see Chris Hernandez, he's my basketball reference, because I watch basketball. I don't follow basketball like I do football. Football, I'm invested. I know the sport. I used to play basketball, but I'm not a basketball player. You know what I'm saying? Just like telling somebody, yeah, I know how to play spades, but I'm not a spades player. There's a difference. So from the outside looking in, we got to get somebody. We got to get some scores that can complement what we got right now. We got to get somebody that can come in and go toe to toe with a Jimmy Butler, because now getting rid of Jimmy Butler looks like the dumbest move the Sixers could have made. But at that time, didn't nobody know that? Well, nobody thinking like that. But nobody thinking like that. Ed says we're seeing that the center position is obsolete. Teams are building with athletic big man that can drive, roll to the rim, and stay on the three. Absolutely. Every big man in the league is shooting them threes. That daggone Dirk Nowitzki started that stuff, man. Nobody plays on nobody dominates the paint no more. But heck, when you got a 7-foot center with a touch, what you gonna tell him? You can't say no. The problem is when Embiid is on, he's on. He is fire. But when he ain't dropping the mid-range, when he ain't hitting them threes, it is frustrating to watch. I'm old school. I grew up on Kareem and Olajuwon, and really Shaq for that matter. David Robinson. Like, I grew up with a true center. Folks was dunking. When Shaq came in the league, I encourage everybody, go on YouTube and check out Shaq's highlights from his rookie year. And for somebody to be that big and move that fast and jump and dunk that hard was ridiculous. Straight up ridiculous. And then you had Dwight Howard, and it was just, back then it was still, you could still have athletic big men, but they still dominated the paint. Now, everybody trying to be a 7-foot Seth Curry. So, and yes, I meant to say Seth, because, ain't nobody shooting like that. Do we keep Rivers as our coach? No. I do not. Doc Rivers is a prime example of what happens when you have a coach with good and or bad players. Doc Rivers is the NBA version of Barry Switzer. Y'all remember when Barry Switzer, when they fired Jimmy Johnson and they gave the job, Jimmy gave the job to Barry Switzer. Barry Switzer had all that success at Oklahoma. Him and Jerry Jones played together in college, so they had that relationship. Plus, he had been super successful at Oklahoma, so he brought in Barry Switzer, and Barry Switzer took him to the Super Bowl. Everybody likes to say that he had the team and it wasn't hard. I'm like, listen, you win the Super Bowl, and you are partly responsible for that as a head coach. But after that year, it didn't take too long for him to get out of there. And then you realize what he was. He was a coach. He was a competent coach, but his success or failure is based on the players that he has. His players bring him up, not the other way around. His players bring him up. He doesn't make his team better. And Doc Rivers is not making the Sixers better. I thought it was hilarious. I don't know if y'all saw that. There was a kid at the game. I think it was game 6. And he was right behind the bench. And Doc was holding the clipboard, and he took a picture. And he was like, "Yo, Doc ain't drawing up no plays, dog." Doc wasn't drawing up no plays. But you see that dude in Boston. Now that's a coach that's bringing his team up. He's making his guys better. So, we'll see what happens. I don't like wishing somebody was gone unless we have a better solution. So all y'all basketball people, if we get rid of Doc, who we getting? D'Antoni? Who we getting? We gotta, before I would want to pull that trigger, we gotta have what's plan B? Who's coming in? And whoever we getting, are they gonna do a better job? Can they do it? What's their history? That's the questions we gotta ask, man. So I would pay Mark Jackson. I like Mark Jackson's coaching style. I wouldn't mind that. I agree. He did get screwed in Golden State. We need that type of player that'll jump in somebody's behind. Doc Rivers ain't that dude. So I don't. I saw some things today with your boy Thibault. So we'll see. And the funny, this picture of Thibault, that's what I imagine I look like when I'm watching Thibault. Because I'm like I expect more out of him. Like, I'm just like, meh. Like, to me, Thibault should just be, I don't know. I just think he should be better than he is, or better that he's playing. Better than he is playing. I don't know. I don't remember seeing him or paying attention to him in college, so I don't know what type of college player he was, but for his size, he too soft for me. I need somebody that's going to bring the noise a little bit. So we'll see what's going to happen. But we got we have a 2 to 3 year window, the Sixers do. That's what I think. That's my opinion. We have a 2 to 3 year window at our current pace. And I'm basing that solely on what I think Embiid is going to do the next 2 years. Embiid got to stay healthy. I'm happy that it's not just his knees and stuff like that. He getting that off the wall bad luck type stuff. You catch an elbow in the face, somebody chop your thumb, like stuff like that. You can't. I don't know. Sam Cassell, I wouldn't mind Sam Cassell. He can't be worse than Doc Rivers. So, but we got a 2 to 3 year window to keep this thing going. And I hope we can get some, at least people look at Philadelphia now as a legitimate destination, meaning they got some players and they've been in the playoffs the last couple years. So you got vets and free agents looking like, can I bring something to the table that gets them over the top? Gets them to the Eastern Conference Finals. Thibault's defense is overrated. Yeah, I don't disagree with you, bro. Do not disagree. He's a good player, but I just think we need somebody better, and I think we can get somebody better. So let's hope they put the deal together to get Dame Lillard that, maybe we can trade James Harden for Damian Lillard. Well, if we were trading the Harden that was in Houston that doesn't, is not the Harden that's in Philadelphia, like Embiid says, that's another thing. Embiid needs to shut up. Like, dude, don't say nothing no more. Don't make no more comments. Only thing I need you to do is get in the gym, Keep doing them leg extensions so you can strengthen your knees. And don't say nothing about how somebody else is playing. That's how we got in this situation in the first place. So just keep it to yourself and go about your business, man. So we'll see what's going to happen. We got some time left. Good time to be. Good time to be a Philadelphia fan. We 3 for 4. We 3 for 4 right now. Eagles are on the rise. Sixers are on the rise. The Phillies are starting to get their bats heated up, but we can't seem to be consistent. And then, of course, the poor Flyers. Maybe one day I can talk about them, but right now, nah. They just hot garbage. So, but we'll see, man. But all right, man, I got to get out of here. I'm going to get something to eat. I cooked all this barbecue. I'm going to go eat some leftovers because I'm hungry. So, do me a favor. Smash that like button. Let me know you were here. And please, please, please join my Facebook fan page at ProFan Perspective. I'm trying to make this thing grow. I'm just a tick under 500. I want to get that 500 so I can start working my way up to 1,000. All right. So do me a favor. Join my Facebook fan page and tell somebody else to join my Facebook fan page, even if they don't, like sports. Tell them to join it anyways. I don't care. But I'm about to get out of here, man. And I will holler at y'all later. Have a good week. Have a good weekend. Be safe. And I will see you here next week. Peace.